Gods and goddesses, peace be with you. As usual, we are speaking from our temple, which is located 4325 Garfield, St. Louis, in the city of Almond. This is the city of Almond. We gave the name the city of Almond because it was here that our Rasul decided to start his message. And his message was one of culture. So, with that said, in the name of the Most High God, in the name of our prophet, I speak. Bisim Leuli Mihiru Amen Ra. We talked this morning about some of the things that we wanted to discuss. And I'm sitting there jumping out of my seat almost. I wanted to bring some points to you that were right in line with what you were saying. Everything that you were saying, it was just coming out. I said, now, they're taking my lesson away from me. They're taking all of the juice out of my lesson. And as a result, I want to have something to say. But one of the things that I have been thinking about quite a bit was, why is it that we've had so much destruction in and around the world? And we've seen it. We've seen the destruction in and around the world. And I ran across a lesson where it stated that Rasul made a prediction. He makes prediction throughout the Bahami Gospel, but sometimes these predictions, they come to turn. And this particular prediction came to turn. See if you can see the significance of what was being said then, as opposed to what is being done now. The lesson is entitled, The 100-Year War. I don't know whether you've ever heard this lesson before or not. Pay close attention to what is being said. The 100-Year War. This was a prediction of our Rasul, peace be upon him. The 100-Year War, 1935 to 2035. People in this day made me much concerned and full of wonder at all of the fighting and upheaval going on all over the globe in the last 30 years, and hoping for a sign of peace around the corner. But such hopes, I am afraid, are in vain. For there is one thing sure, i.e., all corruption and skullduggery that has been sown down through the ages could only reap nothing but disaster. Going back to 1935, when Mussolini marched his army into Ethiopia, we inquired of the Fahami prophet, peace be upon him, what's this all about? How come? The prophet replied, this is the start of a 100-year war. That means continuous wars until 2035. We've never heard anything like this before. A 100-year war. We see the things that are happening. We see that people are fighting all around us now. People have been fighting all along. He said this back in 1935. If you will think back, you will note there period of more than 5 years when some fighting has not been in progress. Talking about today. Simultaneously, in any and all parts of the world up to the present day. Is this not correct? We have had 34 years of these conflicts, and so we have 66 more years to go. As I said, this was written back in 1935, or this was said in 1935, during which time we may see the Third World War, and possibly the Fourth World War. We were at the brink of this at one time when this gentleman, this Russian gentleman, came along and threatened to start a nuclear war. So we are still talking about this concept of war and upheaval that is going on. It is something that has been acknowledged and is being done. At the end of the reign of the wars in 2035, nothing will be as it is today. A lot of us won't be here. A lot of us in the year 2035 will not be here to see exactly what the Rasul was driving at when he said the year 2035. That nothing will be the same as what it was at this time right now. The prophet said, the giant, Africa, the one that you talked about this morning, sleeps. Woe betide the one who awakens the giant. So what has been going on in Africa and other nations around the world has been brought on by the divine plan as a consequence of the wrongdoings of the nations and their people. This divine plan includes the prophecy of Ethiopia stretching forth her wings, the great seal of Fahami. The Fahami prophet has said there will be wars in Africa, and some of them will be big wars. He also stated that African nations will drive out all foreigners, then fight among themselves to see who rules. Some of this has happened already, as witnessed by Algeria and the Congo. This is the way history is made in the process of raising a downtrodden people. This time, the sons and daughters of Ham have been honored by the visit of a God-sent prophet whose spiritual influence is the cause of the Negro's sudden awakening in his own behalf for the first time in more than 2,000 years. Every country and its people has experienced civil war and revolutions before they straighten themselves out. Africans and all descendants of Ham is destined to go the same route. Much concentration will be centered on Africa, and the people will experience many controversies before coming to unity through what? Understanding, or Fahami, which we predict can only be accomplished by leadership of the Fahami program, which was brought to us by a God-sent prophet and is being taught in our houses of worship. The Fahami program is the greatest gift from God that we've had in more than 12,000 years. It is the lift the whole African world needs and must have to survive of the sons and daughters of Ham. Black people should be the only people to send missionaries to Africa. We must learn to think along with Africa because our destiny is wrapped up with the ancient Hamite world, and we should be prepared for the role we will have to play at the end of the 100-year war, for nothing will be the same, and the world at large will be begging for sound and reliable leadership. That's what we're trying to prepare you for right now. Someone has to come with sound and reliable leadership when all this turmoil is coming to an end. We are constantly looking for peace on earth and goodwill towards all and the brotherhood of man. Well, as long as we are compelled to follow the policies of the present rulers, peace on earth is a wild dream, and the brotherhood of man is a nice way of thinking, but in actuality is a huge joke. We have a formula for peace left to us by the Fahami prophet. It is that every nation go home and tend to your own national problems and stop meddling in the affairs of other nations. This warning was sent to all international governments, but they chose to ignore it because it came from a black prophet. And for that we say, woe betide the nation that ignores the message from a God-sent prophet. We are also aware that the basic cause of these wars is stupidity on the part of the rulers. They tell us one thing when in reality it's something altogether different. We don't know what we can believe anymore. They say that the war over there in Saudi Arabia or wherever it was caused by such and such and such. That wasn't the reason why they were over there fighting. It was a bad debt. Somebody stepped on somebody's foot. Something so simple as that. Somebody owed somebody some money and didn't pay them. But they came back and led us to believe that, oh man, they crucified their babies, they did this and they threw them out the window to inflame the people, to get the people all worked up so the people would want to go to war. Yeah. This is the stuff that they tell us. That's lies. Now, if we as a race can develop enough soul force and racial stamina with the knowledge of our glorious and historical background, we will be well on our way forward for where we left off 12,000 years ago, the restoration of the ancient Egyptian Hamite glory. We talked about this in the class this morning. What these countries are using Africa for. They use Africa still for their natural resources. They don't tell you that they're over there trying to get the national resources. And every country want to take their part in it. It was told to us at one time that after we taught everybody everything that they know, little on down the line, they were there with their curious eyes, trying to find ways how they can take it away from you. And this is what that so-called pink man has done. We brought him from the Caucasus Mountains. He was our people. He was our brother. He emanated from from Africa up to those Caucasus Mountains. He went up there and geography changed his color. He's still your brother. But we taught him everything he knows. And ever since then, he has been trying to find ways to overthrow that. Yes. He cannot come along and imitate or have something of his own. He is an imitator. He can only imitate what something has already been prepared for him. And on that basis, I say that everything that he says should be looked at and should be thought about and come to the conclusion that it's not true. It is a lie. And we've been trying to sugarcoat it all the time. He just saying something. He's a lie. He has been lying ever since he opened his eyes. Everything that comes out of his mouth is a lie. You can't believe a damn thing that he's saying. These are harsh words. And these words we have used to try to emphasize the importance of what is being said. Okay. And that is, you can't believe what this man says. What he tells you one thing is something altogether different. It's called symbolism. We know the symbol takes on more meaning than what it implies, so to speak. And that's what this man has done for us. With that said, what you talked about in our classroom this morning and what we have here about the 100-year war and the turmoil that is going on is probably trying to give you some answers as to why we're having the calamities that we're having right now. The Rasul, peace be upon him, has said that this will go on to the year 2035. We may have World War I, II, III, in between that time, who knows? As I said, Mr. Putin almost brought us to that point. If you remember, Mr. Khrushchev almost brought us to that point. We thought that we were going to go to war then, when they sent those ships over to Cuba. And John F. K. said, no, y'all not going to send that over there. That was, everybody was on the edge right then. Because all that man had to do was say, you're not going to stop our ships, and we're going to defend our ships, and you got a war going on. Like over there in North Korea, this man is just posturing, trying to show his strength. But what he is saying is this: what you are trying to perpetuate, you're not going to gain anything as a result of it. It would be just the same as us saying that we're going to shoot a bomb over in East St. Louis. If we shoot a nuclear bomb over in East St. Louis, most certainly it's going to have an effect on the city of Almond, the city of St. Louis. And we're not going to benefit. Nothing is going to be the same. So the Rasul said to us, get all I get and get understanding. But man may as well be friends. I hope you enjoyed my little short lesson this morning, but it was something to think about. It was something to consider. All you people that are listening to these tapes, take that into consideration. We are not here just beating our gums. We are here trying to give you some idea as to what you are, what you will become, or what you can become. If you join together and become united in a nation, we cannot go on laughing and joking, thinking that someone else is going to take care of us, when in reality, our lives lie within ourselves. With that being said, Besim Leuli Mihiru Amin Ra. Thank you.